We will now call this meeting of the Missouri Clean Water Commission to order. Thank you for joining us for an exciting day at hand. I will begin by introducing our commission and staff here at the table. We will start ladies first. So on the far left of the table is Commissioner Patricia Thomas from Jefferson City. Then we have Alan Rowland, welcome, from Dexter. John Reese, Commissioner from Lee's Summit. Stan Cody, Commissioner from Seymour, and Vice Chair of the Commission, Ben Hurst from Kansas City. To my left is Chris Weberg, Director of Staff for the Commission and Director of the Water Protection Program. To his left is Tim Dugan, Commission Legal Counsel from the Attorney General's Office. And we also, at the end of the table, have Chelsea Bodenstad, the Acting Secretary to the Commission and Acting Secretary to the program. We will begin by diving into our agenda. We have adoption of several and consideration of several rules before us. And so first we will welcome Hannah Humphrey to the podium for the department, and she is the Director of the Financial Assistance Center and will be presenting on rules for 10 CSR 20-4 grants. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair McCarty, Commissioners. I'm here to present the department's recommendation on the proposed 10 CSR 20-4 grants. The proposed changes to this chapter include amendments to 5 rules and the proposed rescission of 2 rules. The department is requesting the Commission adopt the orders of rulemaking for the following rules: 10 CSR 20-4.010, 10 CSR 20-4.030, 10 CSR 20-4.040, 10 CSR 20-4.041, 10 CSR 20-4.042, 10 CSR 20-4.050, 10 CSR 20-4.061. Under Executive Order 1703, all state agencies worked to reduce red tape in Missouri. Excuse me. The majority of this rulemaking is intended to remove requirements that are duplicative or no longer applicable, to clarify existing rule language, incorporate applicable state and federal requirements, and to remove more stringent regulations. These changes were proposed to reduce regulatory burden and streamline the rules. The department has determined the changes to 10 CSR 20-4 are necessary after public notice, hearing, and comment. The proposed changes were published July 16, 2018 in the Missouri Register. The public comment period for the proposed rulemaking was from July 16, 2018 to August 23, 2018. A public hearing was held for proposed rules on August 15, 2018, and changes were made to the appropriate proposed rules as a result of comments received during that public comment period. As a result of comments received later, several changes were made, including retaining the word shall in several sections, providing clarification, correcting typographic and grammatical errors. The department recommends the Commission adopt the order of rulemaking for 10 CSR 20-4 grants as proposed.
Are there questions for Hannah this morning? And I would remind commissioners that microphones are off until you hit the power button for the red light to come on. Okay. We don't have any cards on it. Okay. We have no cards for anyone indicating their interest to comment on this, so I would entertain any questions or motions from the commission.
I make a motion that we approve the changes to the 10 CSR 20.4 or 4-point chapter.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Reese has seconded. Chelsea, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Cody?
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Reese?
Aye.
Commissioner Rowland?
Aye.
Vice Chair Hurst?
Aye.
Chair McCarty?
Aye. Okay, that motion has passed, and the changes to the order of rulemaking for 10 CSR 20-4 grants has been approved. With a clarification that the motion approves the order of rulemaking for 10 CSR 20-4. Thank you. Okay, next agenda item would be 10 CSR 20-6.010. And Lee Sue Myers, good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Chair McCarty, Commissioners. I am Leah Sue Myers, an engineer in the engineering section. I appreciate the opportunity to provide the department's final recommendations on the amendment of 10 CSR 20-6.010, the construction and operating permits rule, and is requesting the commission adopt the order of rulemaking. The department published the proposed amendment of 10 CSR 20-6.010 in the July 16th Missouri Register. The public comment period for the proposed rule was from July 16th through August 23rd, 2018. A public hearing on this proposed amendment was held on August 15th. In your packets, I believe tab 2, you have a copy of the order of rulemaking and copies of the comments received and the department's responses. Mr. Robert Brundage with Newman, Comley, and Ruth, Mr. Kevin Perry with the Regulatory Environmental Group for Missouri, and Mr. Stanley Thiessen with MFA provided comments along with department staff. Mr. Brundage and Mr. Perry also testified at the August hearing. Mr. Thiessen and Mr. Brundage provided comments on the proposed exemption for rinsates, was limited to agrochemical rinsates, and that the exemption should include fertilizers, and the rules was updated. Mr. Brundage also provided comments on the exemption of internal plumbing changes, and that requirement that they do not discharge to waters of the state creates confusion. And to clarify, the rule language has been reworded to the extent the exemption applies, except to the point where effluent is conveyed to the receiving waters. Mr. Brundage also provided comments on the requirement that industries submit a statement waiving preferential status from each existing higher preference continuing authority, stating that there may not be an existing higher preferential authority. The rule language has been updated to clarify that the waiver is from the higher preferential continuing authority if it is available. Mr. Perry's letter was in support of the amendment. Other changes include corrections to grammar, formatting, clarification, and correction of references due to other rules as a result of the public rule references as a result to changes as a result of the public comment period. The department recommends the commission adopt the order of rulemaking for 10 CSR 20-6.010, the construction and operating permit rule as proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Leah Sue. Any questions for her before she takes her seat? I see none. Thank you. I would welcome Robert Brundage to the podium to comment on this agenda item.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Robert Brundage. Just briefly, I appreciate the department and all their hard work. I read through the commission packet and really got tired of seeing my name in there so many times. But these regulations don't come open very often, and it's what I do for a living, and to get these as best as possible, I try to take advantage of that opportunity, and really worked well with the department and Chris Weberg and his staff, so I appreciate that. In Chapter 6, and maybe in a couple others, there's just a few remaining issues where maybe some clarity or some misunderstandings, or just where I didn't understand some things, probably need to be worked on. I look forward to working with the staff in the future, in the coming months on some of those things. But for right now, I support this Chapter 6 rule going forward, and hope you vote to adopt it, and we'll look forward to continuing work on any other issues. So, thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Any questions for Robert? Okay. Thank you, Robert. Yes.
And I just wanted to add, Commissioners, that, as stakeholders and others bring up these types of items that need more clarity, would lead to future regulatory work as it relates to your rules, we'll be having those active discussions and, stand ready to work on those things.